Like, working in a unicorn is something that everyone should try, but also it's not going to be for everyone. Hey guys, my name is Chazzy. How is everyone doing today? Thank you for tuning into my channel. So I just wanted to sit down today and talk about what it's like working in a fintech unicorn. This is going to be a video about working in fintech, expectations versus reality. So I am going to crack on without any further ado. Just to give you guys a bit of my background, I used to be a corporate banker in a prior life, and I've been working in fintechs now for like the last 5 or 6 years. When the great resignation was happening and I was getting itchy feet because things weren't moving quick enough in my old job, I basically jumped ship and I ended up working for one of the fastest growing fintechs in Europe. So basically the first thing I just want to say about working in fintech is they pay incredibly well. Everyone wants the good pay, and the business I work for had an amazing 2 years during COVID. So in terms of attracting talent, their main aim was to attract the best talent, and because the co-founders, CEOs are both relatively young and everyone's more or less the same age, they kind of understand the challenges that have been presented for young people. And they know that if they're going to attract talent, they have to pay and they have to come through with the perks. So the first thing I'm going to say is the pay is absolutely amazing. The next thing I'm going to say is you do work incredibly hard for that pay. So when I started my job, basically I knew it was going to be hard work, but I didn't realize how quick the pace was going to be. So when you work for a fast growth company, the clue is in the phrase I've just said. It is fast growth. Therefore, the way that they're able to deliver anything is super fast, and speed is absolutely everything. So I work in one of those roles that kind of like involves eventually helping our clients. So I serve as the sales guys and the customer success people, and it just means that I need to be super fast in how I'm responding to them. You get lots of projects put on you, but you feel as if you're learning a lot of stuff in a relatively short amount of time. When you work in corporate, in order for a transaction to kind of like go through the whole process from like start to end, when something's approved and you pay out, it's probably going to take you, give or say, this is going to sound so bad, but it will take you about 6 to 8 weeks. A fast application in the corporate world is you basically turning a credit application around within a month, but then to even get monies to a client takes a lot longer. What we do is incredibly fast. We try to make decisions instantaneously. We leverage technology, we leverage a lot of data points to try and make those decisions quick. And we work in a world of blue ocean thinking. Whatever it is that you can deliver to the client, if it's doable, we will do it. And because we're in such a competitive environment, and we're not competing with just European businesses, but we're competing with other businesses in our space around the whole world. So everyone is just super competitive, and the pace, guys, it was a bit of a shock. So that definitely shocked me. Another thing I love about the business I work for is the amazing perks that they've got. One of the perks that they've got is that we're 100% remote. I could not wait to start working in a remote job because I thought, oh my goodness, when I'm all settled and I know what I'm doing, I can maybe spend like a week working from Portugal. Like Lisbon is where I wanted to work from. I want to spend like maybe a week working from Berlin. Like I wanted to do the whole like digital nomad stuff whereby you're traveling and getting to enjoy different cultures, but it's not really eating into your holiday time. In reality, I found that I need my setup. Like I need to have my big monitor, I need to be at home, because in reality, work is just so incredibly hectic. And having been here now and kind of like had a feel for how our operations run, just being at home, working from home is the best thing you can do for yourself. And the whole kind of like leaving your house to work elsewhere odds are you need a secure and working internet. If anything goes dodgy with an internet elsewhere and you can't do your job, why are you here? So I've just found that I've not really even thought now of traveling because I know how difficult it would be. And sometimes when you've had like a very, very busy day, all you want to do is just like snuggle into your bed. Also, another thing to do with remote working and this whole holiday thing, my job is very much determined by the business that comes through the door. Therefore, I'm not in charge of my own diary. I think if you're in charge of your own diary and you can decide when to have meetings and you can kind of like, yeah, if you're in charge of your own diary, I think remote working is absolutely perfect, as in you can go to another part of the world, maybe choose to go to museums early on in the morning and then make sure that all your meetings are like in the afternoon. But for me, I basically deal with team that are in Europe, UK, as well as the States. So the team in Europe basically will start at like 7:30, 8 o'clock my time. By the time I wake up and I start logging on about like from 8 to 9, all the UK people wake up and they start getting busy, kind of like putting stuff through. And then by the time it's almost like bedtime or time to log off, 6 p.m, that's when the guys in America start coming through with all their queries. So you find that your workday is like a lot longer and you think that that's where you kind of go, actually, even if I was to try and work from Lisbon, I'm not going to really be able to enjoy Lisbon because you find yourself working a lot longer than you thought you were going to work. The other thing I hadn't anticipated on is the speed and the pace at which you learn new things. So when you're working in such a fast-paced environment, it is like literally like every day is a sprint. It's a sprint and a marathon like alongside each other, and sometimes baby girl just likes to walk. I also like to jog sometimes, and I feel as if sometimes I'm just too slow for this environment. Like I'm leaving at the end of the month, by the way. And one of the things I've kind of like struggled with is how fast everything moves, and sometimes I'm just like, can we please apply the brakes, we're moving too fast? Because sometimes I just like thinking, and yeah, you just need to like execute, and if you're gonna fail you have to learn to like fail fast and move quickly. So that is really, really good, because I think that sometimes I used to like procrastinate and overthink things a lot, but now I'm a lot more like, do you know what, let's just get ish done. I'm still not as quick and as great at it as my colleagues are, but that was something that I didn't anticipate. So going back to what I said about working long hours, something I hadn't anticipated is something that everyone in tech, whatever tech field you're in, is the burnout. One of the things I hadn't anticipated is how quickly I'd feel burnt out. So usually I'm used to working a whole entire year, and I've usually got quite a good work-life balance, mainly because I've been doing things that I know what I'm doing, etc. And before, I'd say I usually start to feel slightly, I need a break around about Easter time. And then by the end of the summer, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel burnt out. I need like a proper little holiday. And then I obviously need another holiday, like going to a holiday at Christmas. This time around, I started this job in January. By February, I was completely burnt out. Like, you work long hours. Like before, I had a lot more discipline, and when it was like just busier, because when it's busy you've got to do the work. I'd be working from like 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. and I could easily work till 12, but then I didn't have it in me. Like, I remember hearing once that somebody was working till 4 a.m, which I was like, no, that's not for me. Like, burnout is incredibly real. And when you're on a client-facing role, although I'm not client-facing, the people I service are client-facing, you need to basically just put in the hours. And yeah, the burnout was tough, and it came at a really, really rapid time. And I think working in a place that's moving so fast, like I didn't know if I was coming or going. Like, having burnout at the beginning of the year, like what the hell? What are you meant to do for the rest of the year? But anyway, things have slowed down ever so slightly, so everything is a lot more manageable now. And obviously, because I'm a lot more used to the job, I've become a lot more effective. The other thing I love about like working at a unicorn startup is, this is where I've been inspired. I realised like how non-technical I am, and I realised how non-technical I am is because my peers all code. Like, I love seeing girls that code. Like, I have never worked with girls that code in real life. Like my dev team have always been like males, Caucasian males and geeks, etc. So just seeing girls using SQL, using Python to help them do their job effectively and smarter, I was like, I need to get me some of that. And just seeing other people doing it, I think inspires you to start taking your own personal and professional development a lot more seriously. So to me, that's been so incredibly inspiring, just seeing people rock it by using all these smart tools that are available to all of us. And I guess pivoting off the back of that, having been in such a tech first firm that everybody admires, looking for my next move, I've kind of like been looking at the jobs market, and I've realized how everybody is now expecting risk professionals or credit risk professionals to almost become like data scientists. It's kind of like, I realize that this is the way of the world. I also realize that by basically utilizing Python, SQL and everything else, it actually will help me do a better job and make me better at my job as well as help me. So I'm obviously jumping onto this bandwagon of like learning how to do a bit of coding and kind of like getting a lot more technically skilled, whereas a lot of my peers or my bosses aren't, and I just feel as if this is going to put me in good stead in the future. Another great thing about working in a fintech startup, which is like doing really, really cool and is like a unicorn, there's a level of democracy. It's kind of like anyone can challenge anyone. When you're being challenged and you're being challenged to that degree and you're not used to it, it does take a little while to get used to. And one of the things I hadn't realized is that my ego was so fragile. Like I've taken a bashing or 20 million in like a very, very short space of time. And before, when somebody used to kind of like just maybe challenge me, give me feedback, I used to take it so personally, and I wasn't used to that. And I think over time, it just kept chipping away at me, and it used to be like so upsetting. And I think that's one of the reasons I haven't done necessarily well at this role, because I used to take everything so incredibly personally, because I guess it's not how I've operated in the past. But now it's like people can say what they want to say, and I realised that it actually doesn't hurt me the way it used to hurt me. And I feel as if I now understand where my shortcomings are. I know what areas I can focus on working on. And I think for anyone who's like, I want to join a startup, be prepared to work in a very male environment. Be prepared to work in a very meritocratic environment. Like I used to fantasize and dream about meritocracy because I've seen meritocracy not done in the past. I've seen people being favored. I've seen people being favored. I've seen autocracy. Like I've seen various management styles and they didn't really work for me. But it does take a while moving into a meritocratic role, but then you start to have very, very open conversations with your boss, with your peers. When you're struggling, you just kind of like take it within your stride. But it is just life, and I feel as if you've got an opportunity to work in that kind of environment, definitely take it. For some people it might just be a bit too honest for them and they might not like it. Like I definitely liked it, I now like it, but it has taken me it did take literally about like 6 to 8 weeks for me to get used to it, but you just learn to get used to it. What else? So the one thing I hadn't banked on when I wanted to do remote working is I hadn't realised how isolating it was going to be. Like I feel so incredibly isolated. I realised that I need a hybrid working environment. I am a people person. I bring my best self to work. I'm a bit naughty, I'm a bit mischievous, but I know how to do my job and I do it very, very well. I just realised that I'm a people person and I'm best presented in a work environment if you see me face to face, because you can see how I endeavour to help people. You can see how, like, I don't know, like I'm very much a people person, and if you're a people person, it's quite nice to touch base, go into the office, go for lunch, have a pint after work. Working remotely and just being purely judged on your technical abilities is a lot, but some people can absolutely smash it, but I definitely need my charm to kind of like help me out in work. And yeah, I just felt like quite isolated. Another thing I felt very, very isolated by is not having a work BFF. Like, I've always got a work BFF, someone I can sneak out for a coffee with, we can have a bit of a gossip. If someone's frustrating me, you can kind of like just mouth off to someone and they understand what you're going through. But I'm really, really missing just close, genuine relationships with colleagues, and making and drumming up a friendship with someone who's not in your department, and you laugh over like the smallest of things. Like in my work, because I'm like just in like an all male team, I'm the only female, like there's no one to rinse jokes with. You just like, ugh, this is gonna sound so lame. Where I work is amazing because the other thing as well is they've got like unlimited holidays. Can you imagine? Like, although they've got unlimited holidays, all I've taken so far is like a half a day, and that's in like almost 3 months. I think that there's departments where people can kind of like maybe utilize the perks a bit more because of the type of role they're in. If you're more kind of like projecty roles, or maybe you're doing recruitment, it's easier to kind of like focus on doing what you're doing and then maybe take some time off and go off traveling and then come back. But once again, because of what I do, we're like at the heartbeat of the money making machine. It's quite difficult to just go on holiday indefinitely. Like, it doesn't work that way. But the fact that the perk is there and it's available, I think is absolutely amazing. Like, working in a unicorn is something that everyone should try, but also it's not going to be for everyone. I've tried it and I'm bruised and battered. Look at me, look at my war wounds. I'm still smiling because I look fabulous. But yeah, it's been fun working for one of the fastest growing companies in Europe. It's definitely been challenging, and I think whatever my next challenge is, I'm looking forward to it. I need to find myself, I need to find my work-life balance. And when you see people who get like these huge share payouts at the end, they deserve every single penny, because I look at my colleagues and they work hard. I am impressed with some of their work ethic. I don't know where they get their stamina from. They are so incredibly intelligent. And if you ever get an opportunity to work in that type of company, I would always say take it, because it allows you to calibrate yourself. And then once you calibrate yourself with people that are doing like amazing things, you're always going to end up being a better person than the person you started off with. I was so used to being the big fish in a small pond, and being a small fish in a massive pond has been absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to the next stage of my life. If any of you partook in the Great Resignation, let me know down below what kind of jobs you ended up in and what kind of like your dream job would be. So till next time guys, I am gonna sign out. Love you guys.